Hi, everybody. Sorry. So my partner, he came home from work early, and I guess he didn't realize that I was doing some of the live streaming thing, which is pretty recent. And like he injured his foot at work, so he came home a little bit early. Totally cool. So I ended the stream, and he's like, "Oh, well, you can jump back on, talk for a little bit. I'll take the dog, and he's gonna do other stuff, I guess, in the background, and then I'll hang out a little bit and eventually go cook." But join the conversation. I'm going to be here. I'm going to get some water, though. So since he said I could do that, before I go, I'll eventually wind down for the night. I'm going to get some water and such. Okay. I just got all my stuff, whatever, set out. If you've lost me and seen me all these other times, I appreciate it. You hanging in there. But yeah, we were talking about past lives. It's really hard to say exactly what that is, and I feel like I'm such an emotional person for imagining loss in such a profound way, but I mean, it's not like it's not like it's my personal life, right? It's not like that happened to me in my family now, but it feels that real to me, though. Well, it sounds like, obviously, Hermit, you're an empath. Just the way you describe dreams, and honestly, you make me feel less alone. Like, so when I dream about dead people, whether they're somebody I know or not, it's like all those details of, I'll pick up on their personalities and let myself change accordingly. If somebody liked one thing in particular or not, I'll just change according to that. I'll start eating random things. Become a little bit of a different person. So, Chilling Answer, I love your thing on your segment on the haunted stories, and I'll really have to. I started to watch it, and then I went. Something else needed my attention, so I want to sit down and smoke a bowl and watch it. Yeah, it's like they say, anytime you have an encounter with a dead person, it's like they give you some sign that comes through to let you know that it's them, but it's not like another example is I was doing channeling for a woman, her brother died, and I actually didn't realize she was considerably older than her younger brother, and I was like, okay, there's a nickname, and he goes, you just need to get it, sis, you need to get the nickname. And I was like, hey kid, did you call your brother hey kid? And she said yes, and she was crying. So but that guy, that spirit I worked with, I channeled his energy, really. It was, he brought my attention to it enough. Hey, pay attention. I'm trying to tell you this was a nickname. Because, it's kind of hard for me to tell what's important and what's not. But he made me understand that this is very important. And, he just would repeat it. So I repeated it to her. that's really cool. I've heard about your other channel, that's got maybe a handful of subscribers, but you send me a link, send me an email, and I'd love to check it out. So tell me some ghost stories. Tell me, you know what's really interesting? Roadside ghost stories. You guys ever, heard of urban legends from where you're from, where, they have to do with that? Oh, thanks for making a, yeah, I guess, my partner can go do whatever else, and I'll just keep chilling. So, but, yeah, I'd really be interested in checking out your channel about, spooky stories and urban legends, because especially like where people collect them regionally. I like the idea. You guys have heard of probably how the heck do you say her name? Lorna, the one ghost who, or it's like a woman, and she murdered her kids, and supposedly you go to the bridge at night, you can hear her singing, and people will document going urban exploring, looking for the supposed ghost, but there's usually a version of it in Mexico, New Mexico, but they kind of dress it towards that actual region. But it's all the same underlying story. What? Is that really a true story? Have you guys ever heard about Dean Coons and how his mom called him from the dead? She was dead. And sorry, you're all you guys are saying really neat stuff, and it just gets me going. But Dean Coons, I like to read him once in a while. He was a mystery writer, but his mom had been dead for some time, and he was in his own office, and I guess he thought that he was receiving calls from her, but it was something like where the woman's voice would just say, "Get out," or "Get help." And this happened a series of times. And he went in one morning, and his father, I think, tried to attack and killed him. And that's when he said he realized his mom was trying to call him to say, "Get out," and protect him. That's what he perceives it as. So, the phone calls from the dead, that's a really interesting subject too, because it's so personal. So yeah, it's weird how you kind of, when I'll go, I'll read a person, or I'll do a reading for them, and I'll go, I've probably extracted as much information as I can out of this. But then what will happen is I'll just, when I stop thinking about it, a detail about their lives, like what they like to eat or the way they like to dress, will really stick out in my mind, and I'll be able to add that to a reading. And that usually comes, after I've done the reading, where I'm just trying to dissect the details. But once I forget about it, these other details actually do come to me. So that's kind of the way that goes. So you have a friend who died through like a car accident, is that what you're saying? And then you think you see him in your dreams? Oh, I guess time for a story. Actually, my partner kind of knows about this one. But pertaining to Roadside Ghosts, we were friends with this one guy, and he goes, we were just like talking with him, and I mentioned the Roadside Ghosts and the all those classic stories, and we were talking about a specific road actually, and he goes, "I just don't like to drive down that road. It just makes me feel sick, like I'm afraid, panicky, whatever. I just don't like to drive down it. And I was like, yeah, I'll tell you why you don't like it, because that is basically there's just so much violence and death, and then it's also tied to, canals and energy, primal energy really, it attaches itself to water. So these accidents and these violence, they keep recreating themselves, and if you're sensitive or you're open, whatever, you'll perceive it, and it will make you just feel sick, and you just want to avoid it. But I actually, we were driving, my partner was driving, and I looked out the window of the car, and I thought I saw a black mass, like that, but it was small, like a child, and it really took my breath away. And then I just felt his death, and I mean, obviously, but it was just like, I don't, definitely gonna close myself up when I go down that road, because there's so much trauma. There's violence too. That's it's just an area. It's an area of land that is best to just say your prayers, or avoid and go around. Yeah, sometimes you can find out secrets, I guess, from tarot, but it depends. I mean, tarot does enlighten us a lot about how, people will just be saying something like, they're trying to present themselves as one way, but tarot speaks of the gossiping nature of human beings, and it's very specific, tarot. Tarot, unlike an oracle deck, does not, that doesn't let you down easy, and it doesn't lie about what human beings are. So, it's a very direct divination. That's why I really like it, though. I took Jung's spin on individuation, and I apply my own philosophy and intuition, and that's what the tarot is to me. What? You crashed your bike in the same place like somebody died? Yeah, so you've only seen the clothing of a ghost appear, right? Like a bottom manifestation. It's really interesting. I have a video somewhere in the archives of my channel about why do ghosts appear as having clothing, and talking about the power of perception that's involved with that, and that it's not just, but no matter what, there's some quality to a dead person that they can't exactly, emulate being alive. They'll try to look alive, they'll try to, really, like, some of them will just appear like they're no different than living people, and living people will never know they saw a dead person, but they won't breathe right, they won't blink, something that about them is not really grounded, because they're not alive, and you have to be alive to be completely grounded. So there's always a quality about it, but we are attached to our clothes, like the way we look, and so that really creates this variable. So, like, some people will look like they died violently on astral plane, and then some people will choose to look like maybe a younger version of themselves. Like, even though they died old, I could perceive that they're in their 20s, and that was maybe the best time of their life. Maybe that was the time that they struggled the most, but it was so meaningful that after death, the ego chooses this way of manifestation. And appropriate clothing, suits, you go back to the Victorian era, everybody's in suits. I don't have the Wild Unknown deck. I was just watching that, speaking of shows, I wanted to, that one show, Penny Dreadful, where Vanessa Ives, she has a tarot deck, and It's kind of the season 1 at the beginning of the show. I was wondering what deck that is. But I think I spent a minor amount of time online looking for it, and I wasn't able to come up with the name of it, but I would love to get my hands on that deck. I want the Thoth deck. Crowley's Thoth deck, too. But I'm not like a type of person who would overload with cards because I really like the traditional stuff, but there's a few cards a few decks I would really like to work with. Oh, you guys liked what?
Oh, I was gonna say, speaking of deck, yours should be coming in. New one should be coming in tomorrow or the next day. Here's
That's
a
cool.
tonic. Can people actually hear you on that cheap piece of junk we have?
Yeah, people are chatting.
Really?
I'll stay on a little bit and I'll make his food. Everybody, this is my partner.
Nice to meet you, random online people.
You can have a magical name if you like, because I'm Demonic Angel, so you can have any pseudonym.
Craig it is.
Okay, I meant like more magical or something. Okay, goddamn.
Magic Craig.
You can all see the sense of humor. Now I have so many drinks by me, but actually he's really nice. He made me a drink of it's Sprite, and then it's like he'll take 7 Up and fresh ginger, and it really makes your stomach feel good. Now he gets the fresh, from the store, and he likes to add the lime to it. But like we're making tacos all the time and Mexican food, so it's really, really convenient.
Helps with the stomach and inflammation.
I don't think I'm playing with anybody's mind right now, but you've just had so many people around you die, and now it really seems like you are deep in death, but I'm sure you know this. So that now they're really free now with their connection towards you. They can live some of those painful, deep moments through you because nobody else can hear them, And you have to believe that it matters to them, that by letting them affect your life in this profound way, because what it is you are letting them, and you're channeling their energy, and you're opening yourself to that. Oh, you got the. How do you like the Thoth deck? Okay, so golden. Are you saying there's like a specific quality of deck I should look for? Babe, people said Hail Craig.
That's dope.
I tell my partner, Hail Craig. Oh gosh, he actually, he goes out front and he enjoys the air, so. Oh, okay. Well, do you want to explain to me more about how you channel people? So the Hermit, I clearly just learn about you more as time goes by about how such a multifaceted person you are. So yet, even though you have these profound experiences with dead people on a regular basis, you're still interested in math. So, I mean, what exactly are your interests in math? What does that take you to? You like calculus? How about Pythagoras' theorem? The spiral, that was that whole, but he had a whole cult. You had to shave your head and whatever, and live isolated in his math cult in ancient Greece. But then those were considered the best mathematicians in the whole world at that time. So. Yeah, you know what? Yeah, my partner got me a deck. It depends on the mood. Honestly, like, Rider-Waite is still always going to be my favorite, though. I won't stay on too much longer because I'm going to make food and whatever, but.
Hey, you do whatever you want. Take your time. Where'd you put the charger to this, by the way?
It's in the bathroom, I think, where you left it.
Yeah, I didn't see it.
Or I didn't take your stuff. Oh yeah, see, isn't it fun? I have such a mundane life in many ways. Where did you put my stuff? I don't know. Where did you put it? Kind of a fun game that you play when you live with people. But, you know, that's one of the most beautiful connections I've ever had with somebody, where you're just involved with the day-to-day personal lives and such, and you're like, where's my stuff? Or I know you like this specific hot sauce, right? I know you like this amount. I know you like your food like this. I already know you're going to complain about that, and you just know somebody so well. But at the same time, you know that somebody knows you very well. And I think that's something that I'm very blessed to have experience. Yeah, right. Mm-hmm. Or you could take like a deck, and then you could do maybe pull out 3 cards and of another deck, and see if it cleans up the information from let's say you do a Celtic cross spread, and then you pull 3 cards trying to clarify that information. Like I like to do, where I'll draw a rune. I'll draw a rune and kind of apply it to a deck. So I'll do a reading, and I'll, of course, I think, God, my favorite is Gabo or Jera, the little runes. Hot sauce. Oh, you know what though? I still want to see your Mexican food recipe. Cook-a-thon at some point, and let me know if you ever try the garlic stuff too, because we were talking about that, I think, last week. That'll really fortify your stomach anyway, and you'll be able to eat much spicier foods. So, wow, that's your day job, really? See, I suppose that's why we're so drawn to each other, where my grandfather, my biological grandfather, he was an Army engineer. A very, very intelligent man. And if there's anything really smart about me, it comes from that in part, Yeah, cult gets you away from science. Kind of, you know what? I can't prove my feelings. I can't, I just believe that what I'm experiencing is important. And like the number 3 might have a specific significance, but I always have a gut feeling about how to apply it. So yeah. Oh, raw garlic. Another one that's really good is cinnamon. So, just straight up cinnamon is really good for your heart. So why do you like the large decks and then compared to the small ones? Because isn't the idea the larger ones are probably better for dudes? You guys have bigger hands. I prefer normal size cards. Wow. You like the apple cider vinegar too. Awesome. God, Chili Mancer, you're going to live to be like 150 or some shit. You really are. Well, I enjoy your conversation so much, and I like taking you back into the occult then, if this is your, the thing. Anyway, well, we can even look at a few cards if you guys want. I have like too much going on. But I don't know who was here earlier and who wasn't, but since I have it, I'll talk about it. I've got my, rose quartz, and then I have my little. I've got 50 of these President Marvis, sigils, and I'm not a good drawer, but I'll trace them, and I put them on. I draw Marvis's sigil on the bottom of all my apple cider vinegar bottles, on the bottom of a lot of just witch jars and things like that. Actually, people have been asking me to make them. Well, they were like, you want to make me a talisman or something special? I want to make witch jars and send it out to specific subscribers. And I can put, I want to put some dirt from a cemetery, maybe go out to the mountain, and I let you know where, I get the dirt, that all the different layers of the bottle I give you. And I can put some herbs and spices, maybe some body fluids, whatever. Anything really witchy like that, and make a basically witch jars for people. Now sigils, appropriate sigils, but man, I love Marvis's, and I just sit and I draw, his sigil all the time. And then I've got my little, World War II Ouija board here. So it says au revoir. I think that's in French, right? At the bottom. And the instructions on the back. Original. It really, I need to get a specific case for it in plastics to make sure that it doesn't get damaged any further. There's actually paint on it too. There's a paint drop. So the guy who I envisioned, he was out in the barn. The guy who owned this, okay? He was taking this out to the barn. And I don't really think he lost anybody in particular, but he was trying to contact dead people and look for himself. I do think, ironically, or maybe not, he ended up being in the military himself. I did get that he died of, liver, kidney failure, but prior to that, he'd been suffering from respiratory problems, and I think that his descendants just cleaned this out, found it, brought it to the antique store. But he was really, it's beautiful because this is the handwork of this guy. He was really looking. It's got, from the planchette, and since it was only manufactured for 2 years, this is a connection to a real living man who would have been alive at the time of my grandfather. So it does make me feel it's a connection to my grandfather, and it's a connection to the 1940s that I really, feel honored to have. And I bring it out once in a while. But more than anything, I just love the history and stuff that goes around it. Just putting all this stuff away. Yeah, to get testimonies. Hi, everybody who's jumping on. Hi. You created your decks. Wow. Well, I think eventually when I get a P.O. box going again, I would love, if you wanted to send me a deck, if you want to send me some handmade, magical experiments and things like that, you'd be welcome to do so. And I really would look for, I'm looking forward to doing those kinds of things. Or, you're saying you make your own tarot deck. I would love to take it, bring what I have to it, interpret it, and hopefully give it a depth, honestly. Oh, so you make smaller cards? Is that what you mean? Well, yeah, use bigger tarot decks. Those are usually, like I said, for probably more comfortable for men's hands. But I think that, you know, if you're a woman, you probably want the regular standard size decks. And it just depends too, because it feels really intimate and it's small, and you have to really look at the card for the details that way. I have heard about how, some testimony about how Go Virtual Lucifera, she invokes, she uses Sabnak to invoke specific spirits of soldiers. Sabnak meaning, the Marquis of the Dead. It's a necromancy demon. And then through them going to cemetery, selecting people who she feels will protect her. But, specifically soldiers and from different eras she likes. Like they have, if they were in a battle, then that's who she'll go with. And, just taking that energy and into her home, accepting those dead people like they're her own relations. And I really enjoy, I enjoy doing those things, yeah. I won't stay on too much longer though, guys. I'll probably go, let's call it 10 minutes, and then I'm gonna go, hang out with my partner. I've actually done a little bit of that with Sabnak myself. I ended up encountering a guy who killed himself, but he had such a rich personality. His whole backstory was very, very sad. And I liked him. And I'm not, I guess we all just need somebody to like us. And I think that when dead people connect with us living people, they're able to expend some more of their energy, perhaps that they wouldn't otherwise be able to do. So this guy, he had wanted, his story to be told, so to be felt by a living person. Yeah, you can email me links if you want. If you're saying, should you email me? Yeah. So I guess we could do. Everybody likes your tie-dye shirt.
Oh, thank you. Jimi Hendrix is the man.
I'm gonna go pretty soon, but.
You take your time. I think it's adorable. You got this. You just enjoy it.
Oh,
I am just looking for my book, wherever that went.
That's in our room somewhere.
All right, may the search continue.
Yeah, my partner it's really great. He likes to read a little bit now. Hard copies or paperbacks, it doesn't matter, but yeah, you're right. What exactly is cartomancy? Wow, that's really cool. Yeah. And the hermit, you can even privately message me and send me some of these ideas that you're talking about, or websites and decks. Really interesting. I'd love to pursue it. Check it out.
Oh, that's cool. You showed him off the thing or got you at the antique shop, eh?
Yes. Oh, sorry. Let me.
No, you're good. I actually feel like I want to smoke some tonight.
You want to just hang out?
Yes, I love hanging out.
Okay, everybody. Okay, I guess everybody welcome my partner. And
so how do you see how many people are watching it? Oh, I see 5.
5 and 2.
Do we count as 1?
No, it's talking about how many people are watching it. The thumbs up are from people liking it, babe.
Oh, that's cool. Okay.
And then, I don't know, I'm just drinking, and then I'm going to do some tarot. And you can just keep refilling the herb for us, huh? But yes, I was showing everybody. Somebody asked me about this. My partner took me to the antique store, guys. So it was around the time of my birthday, and
hundreds of dollars for beautiful cardboard that's really old. Pretty neat, though.
Look, somebody called us Mama Bear and Papa Bear.
Oh, is that what we are? Are we that old now?
we're see, yeah, we're different. We're our own vibe for sure. But
Oh God.
oh yeah, and then here's my dog, and
Hot summer, and you want to be on my lap.
Yeah, well, whatever. Keep packing this.
Oh man,
It's medicinal.
It's home.
It's medicinal. It's legal. It's okay. It's Saturday night.
It's homegrown.
Herb is the way, though. I talk about chemicals and things like that. This is a recovery, I think, from the effects of stress and adrenaline, and alcohol, whatever, hard drugs, anything like that that really throws off your body's pH. If you're stuck in such an anxiety where you just can't focus, whatever, being stoned sometimes really is a great way to just help your body focus on being relaxed a little bit better. I mean, if nothing else, it really can enhance relaxation.
And if you have ADHD, the norepinephrine and dopamine help you focus better. Good for school.
It's true. This was really good, but now I want to jump on and have my iced coffee. But what do you guys like to smoke? What's your favorite strain? Okay, so you're making your own version of just the Minor Arcana. Is that what you mean?
Oh, they want to see this dog.
Oh, well, no, you don't have to show them if you don't want.
I don't know.
They've seen him. He jumped on here, actually.
Here,
Before you walked in the door, was the dog.
Here, people want to see your fucking fat body.
Can we see your dog?
There you go.
Yeah.
Now I can have that.
Oh, you want the pipe back?
Yeah,
Pass
I
it,
did
pass
all
it.
the work.
Well, it's always nice to just ladies first, right? You can smoke the fucking ash at the bottom. I try to be a considerate smoker.
I mean, we're growing it. Like, you have a gigantic jar of never-ending
Yeah, we're
herb.
cultivating it. I've discussed some of my theories on and likes as far as psychonautics and things like that, but I'm not sure what will eventually happen with my father, but I do want to try to, if he ever retires officially and things like that, treat him with
another person who says Durban poisons the bomb. Now we have to try it.
Oh, Durban. Okay. We
like
like this one website, so we grow, but we get our seeds, so that, and the purpose behind that, guys, is that it gives you seeds that are feminized and, autoflowers, so you're not guessing if it's a male or female seed, and that takes, but they're a very professional website so far. I think he's got so many discounts and coupons, he's keeping the dude in business. But we like to garden other things too, like we want to use herbs we grow, like, for cooking and things like that. So what do you guys think about the dog? He's kind of like my familiar, but he loves to sit by my partner. All your videos are weed induced. Well,
yes, they are. Inspired and sponsored by.
I tell you what, though, we'll grow some Durban poison, and we'll do a taste test. But I do want to see Chili Mancer. Okay, send me links and stuff. I want a recipe that might incorporate garlic, something really, and I'll look for it. I'll watch it. I'll be excited. But I'd love to hear a spicy recipe like that.
Nothing with onions.
Nicotine. Well, even though onions, my partner's making fun of me. I hate onions very much, and when I accidentally eat one, I see the color purple, and it makes me feel like this violent, distasteful note that sounds in my mind, like a classical opera concert or something. It's like.
I'm hoping you've explained to these people that you are mildly autistic and that you have that weird cross thing where your senses are actually blended together. Do they not know that yet? Or
I told a couple people.
You're just that outright with them. That's cool.
I told a couple. Yeah, I've told people I've just been described as autistic. I have synesthesia. So, but I'll pick. I still like spaghetti, right? I pick onions out of them, but it makes me feel relaxed, like a monkey picking somebody's pimples or You know how monkeys just like groom each other and they sit in front of each other, right? It feels like a grooming ritual. So I will not avoid dishes that have onions. I'll just like, oh yeah, you know what else? Why I'm weird, guys? I'll get a. Oh, you're also autistic? Okay, well, welcome, all my rainbow friends.
All my rainbow friends.
But like,
we're gonna make T-shirts.
Oh God. I'm glad you like the dog. Yeah, he's a really nice, you know, it's really nice to have him, I'll say. He brings a lot to my life, even though he does infuriating things. Okay, he actually dug up one of our pot plants. Yeah. So, I just wanted to be like, why'd you do this, dog? But
he killed the blueberry kush and
it was
the
blueberry
northern
kush.
light.
Yeah, it was okay. It was actually two of them because they were, together.
20 seeds down the drain.
The dog's name is Chaco. You make spicy ketchup, so like cayenne pepper and ketchup. You hate onions too? Are you serious? Like, are we on the same trip or something? Like, I know. Ever since you and I have been talking, it's almost like, because there's a redneck quality about you that
That's flattering.
Well, this guy, he does spice. Chili mancer. He's really neat. But he does really spicy food. So he likes to sit there and eat 10 spicy wings, right?
Oh man, scorpion peppers.
But, yeah, well, have you ever heard of scorpion peppers? Do you know what he's talking about?
Or ghost.
But he'll tell ghost stories while he eats peppers. So but he calls all of his followers cousins.
Oh,
and there's something, that's what I mean about something redneck.
So his YouTube channel is more like storytelling while eating some like kind of a Western cuisine with spices.
Yeah, and he'll try to eat like a whole bag of peppers. Like somebody will send him a whole bag. Have you ever heard of scorpion peppers?
More power to you in that poor toilet, man, eating that much spicy stuff.
Well, he deliberately tries to strengthen his stomach through spice.
Is that like
to build a tolerance? Like he eats raw habaneros, but the idea is you can't just outright eat a raw one. You have to build up a tolerance in order to actually consume one raw.
I mean, I guess that makes sense, but why?
Because it's fun. Spicy food's really good for you. If you do not have a stomach ulcer and you build that tolerance there's a range of things that occultism will do, but spices really do, regular consumption of spicy food kind of leads to an altered state of consciousness, but it's really because spicy food has a lot of trace minerals in it. So even if you get it from other sources, but if you get it in this organic way and it's spicy, your body absorbs it much better. And I do think that it actually makes your body function better in general. So spicy foods really have this health benefit. It's cleansing, it's a detox, but it also is providing electrolyte, like it's not hydrating you because it's spicy, but because it's able to supply you with some organic minerals, that makes it easier for you to stay hydrated and things like that. So it's really cool. You grow scorpion peppers? Hey, he grows scorpion peppers.
Yeah, once we get a bigger home, we'll have a garden of our own.
Okay, I'll have to go through more of your channels or something in the next week. When I get time, I like to go on your channel. Yeah, peppers are delicious, and I think that they can induce states. And also, if you eat really well, like spicy foods, the day before you go on a fast, it makes it so you feel hunger pain less, because you've just given your body that boost in heat, and then you absorb nutrients and you won't feel hunger. I need to go on my fast in the next week or two again, but I'm going to try to work with a specific spirit. I think how do you say his name, guys? Ranov of the Goetia. My friend sent me a very detailed drawing of him, and I've been interested in him anyway because he really has been a draw for me, even as a young occultist, but I never really did rituals for him. But I'm going to definitely turn my attentions to that. And then I'm going to feature the video a subscriber. It's not a video. It's a drawing. I'm gonna show. He'll help me. Show the drawing on the video.
Oh yeah, video editing.
Because a guy drew a picture for. You can send us seeds. I know. Well, I'll get a PO box later this year, and like I said, it would be fun to send some people witch jars and other things like that, and then you guys could send things to me likewise. But I'll let you guys know later when that all comes to fruition.
Probably at the end of the year. And since you like this little channel thing so much, I'll upgrade your camera and microphone so it doesn't look like garbage.
Hey, what a gentleman. Thanks.
You're welcome, bro.
You've used, okay, peppers with Mars. That's a really good pairing because, that fiery rage of a pepper, right? And Mars is the planet of war. I mean, you could also probably argue that would be a good spice to use to invoke Venus, but yeah, see, you kind of understand how, what you eat will definitely affect your consciousness for sure. But yeah, later this year, while that's all said and done, you could definitely send us seeds or whatever. Oh yeah, my friend who's actually been, I'm actually friends with a guy. I believe he is a African American, but he now lives in Britain. And he's been teaching, or we've been talking about the voodoo, and I told him I've been really interested in really being part of this community for a long time, and I feel like I'm drawn to Mama Bridget, and she is actually a white Celtic woman in their tradition. That she's part of the Loa and part of that tradition. So I'd like to channel her basically. And learn more about it, become more immersed. But it feels like it's really humbling to be considered by people of different cultures and beliefs enough where they can feel like they want to include me in this. I like to leave offerings though, definitely. Art, food, paper clips, whatever, they like even the smallest offering, and you set it aside for the dead or a spirit or a god, they notice. Oh, you get really... So do you ever use like 7-Up to help your stomach settle after you, after you try to ingest all these hot... I'm sure you use like cream cheese and milk. I think I've seen that on your videos, but how about like lemon lime soda? Well, a lot of places like, with Chinese Buddhists, they leave, there's basically this, spirit month, and it culminates where they leave out plates of food for their deceased relatives, but it's like the way they like to cook, and then in some different variations, people will try to address the dead person as if they're still there. And this is the way they get messages and speak that way. And if the fancy does strike me, I'll leave out an offering, try to communicate with a specific spirit. I'll say, I've thought about you, spirit. Here's an offering that I hope will help you energetically. An offering is just offered energy. Then you can come and communicate with me. And I can channel your messages. That's how I'm just kind of leaving it open. Papa Bear, all hail Craig. We got all hail Craig again.
That's awesome.
Wave, Craig.
That shit's pretty funny.
Well, this is the magical name you've chosen, so.
So it shall be, and I will forget it by tomorrow.
Well, I'm going to have him be my cameraman, because what I want to do is go to some places that have, they're reportedly haunted for one reason or another, doesn't matter why. And I'm not going to look into it. And I'm going to say, just take me there. And I'm going to tell you what I think is going on. I'm going to tell you what
haunted restaurant we went to and the food sucked.
Yeah, like the haunted restaurant we went to and the food sucked. I think what he is referencing is actually, so take a token, tell a ghost story.
Couple, it's about the next state over. Neat place.
Oh, yeah. So you like Tabasco. Oh, sweet red drinks for Lilith. Lilith has been on my mind about channeling her because essentially I realized I haven't done the Lover's Tarot card yet and gone into a depth about, how I go in depth on each card. But I kind of wanted to address what I think essentially how woman as an animal is different from man as an animal.
Gracias, señorita.
Thank you. I hope that I can help my friend. My friend, I told him about, this missing person and that, my impressions of things, and we will see who is right. He tells a different story, but I think he was influenced more about, his personal relationship with the family, whereas I don't know any information. So I feel like my reading might have had a better purity because I just was telling him, hey, this is what happened with this man dying, and it was a medical emergency. Nobody killed him, and that's that's what's important for me to distinguish from your vision. Motherly, even. Gosh. Well, yeah, Lilith is really neat, but that's going to go into the whole mythology. Adam, Eve, Lilith, and I think I'd like to talk. I mean, in my mind, woman existed first, and kind of the reasonings. So essentially, I would talk about that as a prelude because, when you go to the Lover's Tarot card and you get so packed with all this imagery of it's like everybody's fantasy of romantic ideas, because that's one of the few cards I haven't done yet. But I think it would be first good to define what the difference between maybe a man and a woman as an animal are, and also to realize once again that any tarot cards that involve another person is really just you understanding yourself. So whether it's the Lover, or we also have like the Six of what is it, guys? The Five of Pentacles, where it's a beggar man and a beggar woman, and they're starving and it's snowing, and then all they have is rags to be dressed in. So that's another tarot card where we have two people. But you're learning about yourself through all these different scenarios where, you have nothing at all. And, you're dependent on another person for resources. But you're going to learn who you really are through all your experiences with other people, because all you'll ever know is what's in your mind. Not to be super deep, I guess, guys, about the tarot, but the Lovers are all these different cards that have various people. You're all the different people in the tarot. And, you think of it as an external person that you will meet, which obviously sometimes this can indicate, but at the same time, the most important thing to realize, you are all these people in the deck, and if you maybe you have been in your last life, or so maybe you've channeled it some other way. Doesn't matter, or how you know something, but well, thanks for coming and stopping by. I'll talk to you on email. So, and I'll get off here in a second. Let's see if what about the Devil card? Do you want to do, I'll do one next week. another live stream. Just pull cards in pairs. I really like to do spreads. So I really won't just pull out two, but I actually made my own spread for past life readings. You guys can check that out. But this was just a thing that I completely intuited. Actually, a cool story that we have as well is that he works with a girl who, she was just really somebody looking for someone like me. And, you know, I basically talked to her about a lot of occult subjects. She doesn't really have a lot of other ways to talk about it. She made me some rock necklaces, which were really sweet, but I did a tarot reading for her about the situation concerning her father and paranormal activity, and I was really able to get through in some ways to her. But she even got into tarot. She got an occult-inspired tattoo, and just all based off of this friend he introduced me to. So it's been a lot of fun. Oh, the Two of Cups are you referring to? That's kind of like the minor arcana lovers, except, it's I actually prefer that over the lovers, because it's much more of a practical card. Pet Choco and say hi for me.
Do I, huh?
Some guy says pet Choco and say hi for me.
Oh, yeah.
Craig's like, hey, what, man? I'm trying to read, you fuck people, and you're doing tarot and stuff.
No, you're good. I just was not following.
This family member, he was going to get rid of this random dog and whatever, and of course he has such a big heart that he let him stay in our home.
I mean, it was just adorable. It was just a tiny little creature with giant bat ears.
So we didn't want him to go to a shelter or elsewhere, and he's been part of the family ever since.
And he's really useful. He barks at all the
No, he digs
people.
up our weed. He digs up our weed, and yeah. Let me tell you guys, somebody greasy and nasty looking will walk by, and it's whatever, man, right? It's just they're walking, but I'm like, you didn't bark at this freaking person, but he'll bark at like some 90-year-old lady going by on a walker. And I'm just like, come on, dog, you're a little bit off. He's still my familiar, though. Okay, pull a hand in pairs. Yeah. Yeah, right. No, there's a lot that even a couple cards can tell you where, let's say, because obviously sitting here, I'm realizing it's very hard to pull one of so many cards, which is why it's taking me forever to do it. But for example, let's say you draw the Two of Cups and then you draw like the Six of Cups. This is really going to indicate a forgiveness experience that, probably has to do with friendship on such a deep level, but the lover's kind of psychology comes into it, because it's probably not going to be somebody who's your lover. Is that there's something that they do that's their behavior is so similar that, when we fall in love, we fall in love with ourselves. That just makes you feel like you could really bring out these hidden qualities of yourself. And that is really this kind of forgiveness, is really just to experience like you could be like who you are completely. And so that's an interesting twist as far as a pair. When we draw, the Two of Cups and the Six of Cups, this emotional, immersed experience. I'm glad you like the dog. Yeah, he's really neat. Okay, do you want me to do a live reading? I tell you what though, I will do this one reading and then I'm gonna go for the evening, and then next week, whatever, Friday, Saturday night, doesn't matter to me. I will do a stream, and I'll do like a tarot card in my regular videos, because I'm still completing this the deck, and I'll let you know a couple days ahead of time when the live stream will be, and we'll do it that way. But it'll be next weekend. So yeah, I'd like to do a live reading then for you. So I think that I feel really drawn towards just doing, a 3-card spread as far as what we could really work with here. I actually am a shitty medium, you guys. I am still really getting down shuffling and things like that. And I saw actually my friend Black Magic Sorcerer, he likes to do the same thing where you take the cards you got in your last, pull, and then I face them this way. So I know I used them last time, and I make sure to shuffle them in, really well. Since I just used them, and I want to get them really back immersed in that. So in the deck, let's see. Well, I do have, as far as the past goes for you, we do have the 5 of Wands, strife. One of my favorite cards, now this one is really unique because there's not just 2 people in it, there's a group. So this is all about the group mentality. And even so, strife can just be all these different people that you are in your own head. Like, here's your work persona, the persona you are at home. And so you have to manage these 5 or 6 different ways you basically live your life. But if there's an inner turmoil going on, if there's let's say that your worldview is just completely different than what it really should be, and you don't feel comfortable with that, that'll manifest a strife. So let's say what I mean by that is, let's say, you decide that, when you see other people, you're like, hey, at least I am not, going around and partying and all this stuff. And it's like, there's that element of not really, you're judging, and it says more about you as that person. So when you judge something, that it could be moral, it just could be whatever, but you see it in other people, but it's a part of your mind. And when you judge it, you're creating the doors, opening doors for inner strife. Now that's okay, because that's how we learn from ourselves. But strife has to come from internally first. And it just can be too, where very realistically mundane, people struggling to get by, people sharing resources, people really engaged in the day-to-day aspects of work and business. These people are living paycheck to paycheck in this card, pretty much. And they do rely on the hustle and bustle and each other. They have very simple clothing. So, if it is this external source that tarot is telling us about, then it is that the strife itself is beautiful. The only thing that we need to have as a reminder for this card is that if you get stuck in the strife, you'll lose your sense of time and space, and you just get, the day-to-day stuff is just all that you have. But there's so much more to the daily grind. You're not just your strife. Your strife is just a part of who you are. So you have to give ground yourself, reconnect with the sense of time and place that you have, consider your feelings, and then go back to the day-to-day grind, to see if make sure you're feeling comfortable. And this is just this reminder, though. Okay, 5 of Wands. Then I have the 6 of Wands. So we have, another in the same suit. This is for the present. So in the past, things were a little bit more tied for you to surviving and the day-to-day grind, being you very much having to be attached to that. But now we take a look at victory, personal victory. There's more people in this card, but this comes from like in ancient Greece, wreaths would symbolize the hearth, friendship, victory. And he's just like hanging back and riding into town and everybody's celebrating. So this is, you're coming out of a period of doing shadow work and therapy and things like this. And this really is celebrating that you've taken that time to pause from strife, to really heal and consider who you are. And this guy in this Six of Wands, he's only pausing. There's still battles to be conquered. There's still places to go, but he's pausing to kind of have a moment of self-celebration. And that's important. It's kind of celebrating what you've learned from self-reflection. And I think that's a big part of what's happening for you at this time. Also just that I think that you've grown closer with your family members and to resolve some disputes, so that the family doesn't feel exactly so scattered. You can call your cousin or your sister and have a more in-depth conversation that's a little bit more honest. And you've changed your behavior, and that's opened a lot of doors for people to come back into your life. And I mean, we all do it. I've been like that, where, people didn't want to be around me anymore, not because of, but because of who I was becoming, just lost in all these, pain and all these other things. But, I just continuing to pause, to reflect and heal, and having a good connection to somebody that is healthy for you. It could be a lover, could be you're reconnecting with your mom and dad, whatever, but it's very, very healthy for you. And I applaud you for that. So the last card, oh, that's cool. See, honestly, I can't wait to do, even more cards and eventually you guys can just mail me some cards and, go all out, and that'll be fun. I'll send you a personalized witch jar. But the last card we have is Judgment. So I was just doing for you an emerging arc of the past, present, and future. But Judgment is one of those cards that it's like the Wheel of Fortune, and it brings you back to all these different people. So there's a lot coming into your life that has to do with, you're organizing your work life, your family life, and really making it work with people who aren't just you. So all the things involved with that, financially planning, making, homemade food, making budgets, but relying on other people who are part of your family to be a part of who you are. Open yourself up to that. And see, these people in the Judgment card, they're naked. They're sky-clad, as we like to call it in the occult. But they feel like they can be that vulnerable, and they are naked, and they're just in awe. Some of them look like they're going to cry. Some look like they're, they all have a different face, a different passion for the angel that descends and, brings a message. And they feel, but the naked people feel vulnerable enough to just let this experience, completely consume them. So like when we judge others, and especially if we judge children, and children are pure and innocent in this main sense, because they just know, all they know is that the different realities they live in, like imagination. But this angel appears, and it's called Judgment in our card. So this is, even though these people are childlike and they're not understanding what's happening to them, Judgment is still here to be announced. Judgment has to do with fruition of karma, and it's also like that something that you have done in some of your lives in some way is coming now to manifest. And it can be at a time in your life where you've healed a lot, and now this vulnerability comes calling. This, you need to attend to this moral judgment kind of a thing. And this can come from the outside, but see, when we kind of, open ourselves up to the judgments and pressures and gossip of everybody, you will be forced to take a step back and think to yourself, what do I think outside of the judgment? Who should I be when it's just me and there's nobody else? And that's who you really are. I think that the best part about this reading I've just done for this person is that ending it with this Judgment card is that, you went from a person who would just see other people as, oh, look, they're poor, look at that, they're different than me. Oh, fat people, they're just fat because they're fat. You don't think of it in terms of, I wonder if that person has a medical condition. So it's just that judgy gossip way that we talk, about people in our heads. But then something happens to you, right? You lose your health a little bit. I'm glad you really liked my reading. I'm so happy. Yeah, you're crafting your own behaviors, and I can really get that sense from you for sure. That now, but my point would be that after you go through this period of ill health, of just, okay, like you took your life apart and your behaviors, and now you're incorporating other people, like your lovers, your close relatives, and trying to craft a new relationship with them. That's coming from a place that does not include judgment anymore. So you're not looking at your friend and thinking they're fat and thinking, whatever, oh, they spend too much money and whatever. You know that all of us people have at some point, all human beings have been addicted to something, and it manifests in whatever way. But whether it's being fat or people get sucked into gambling or anything like that. But when you look at it with compassion now, instead of judgment, then you really, really have transcended to a level you should congratulate yourself, because it's very hard to do these things. To change the way you talk about people in your own mind is just really hard. But treating them in your own mind respectfully, then you can take that outward and have that going on. So you close spending money on his wife, but she's. Oh gosh. Well, what do I think of it? I think everybody involved was a little bit too attached to their possessions, and this is something that really has bound these people together. So we could, it's like these old people weren't in love anymore. They were just kind of bound by, they don't know anything else, and then they collected all these possessions. And I think it's okay to sell some of the deceased items, because there really should be this letting go of process. And I do think it will help the deceased person too, because that will help them to realize they're dead. If you leave all the dead person's stuff the way it was when they were alive, that can really make it so if they come to try to visit you or give you a message, but now they see all their personal possessions, they'll stay. And, more often than not, there's no reason for them to be here anymore, and they should go. Clean up the energy, make it your own, move the past into the present, and remove that stagnant energy in that case. I don't think this person has a message for you. I just think they're having a hard time moving on, but they're, it's just some base mundane cravings. And in old people, as they kind of degenerate, they'll do behaviors like hoarding, and it's associated with some of the chemical changes that predate, they're precursors to Alzheimer's, dementia. But that's the effects of stress, except it's cumulative and it interacts with genetics later in life. And so I've seen that manifest as hoarding behaviors. But I do think that it is tied to essentially dementia, but not, it might not seem so apparent. Like somebody can still function, they're not exactly, forgetting what's going on, but I do think it's a chemical damage that it's like you have to hoard all of your behaviors because your stuff, because you don't think that you'll get anything else. And I think that's a cumulative effect of stress. That is not, and everybody experiences stress. It's about building resiliency to stress or not. So in other words, you go through the same level of stress in a way. Now, stress is perceived in our minds, but by building a resiliency through meditation and other techniques, it makes it so that the stress doesn't chemically change you as much and damage you. So, Dominic, I was just emailing you back about your flat, and it's a lot of fun to have you as a friend. So I guess I'm going to go ahead and go, guys, but it was a lot of fun chatting with you, and I'd like to jump on next weekend, okay? So if you want to say goodbye to me or something, I'll stay on one more minute. Otherwise, I'm going to go, and we'll do one next week. Now that I think I know how to work this webcam. So thank you. Good night. And now you guys got to meet my partner, so that was a lot of fun too. So yeah, you guys have a good night. I'll talk to you later. Thank you for the chat.